Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into a really fascinating hyperlocal real estate initiative down in Florida. It's a program designed specifically to solve a massive problem for one absolutely vital profession, our educators. And actually presents a brilliant case study in how real estate transactions can be totally restructured to serve a very specific community purpose. Let's get into it.
Now, what if buying a home actually funded your classroom? Usually, getting a mortgage just drains your bank account, right? It certainly doesn't fund your workplace. But that is exactly the unique dual-purpose nature of the program we're examining today. It's this incredible model that merges personal financial milestones with targeted community philanthropy.
Okay, so here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll look at the teacher home advantage, then eliminating buying costs, followed by giving back to schools, and finally, we'll wrap up with some teacher success stories.
All right, let's jump right into Section 1, the Teacher Home Advantage.
So right off the bat, this program is incredibly exclusive. It is reserved specifically for Lee County teachers or Lee Schools employees, past or present. Period. If you don't fit that highly specific geographic and professional profile, well, this program simply isn't for you. It's a localized, completely closed-loop system designed exclusively to support the educators within that specific area.
Moving right along to Section 2, eliminating buying costs. Look, anyone who has ever bought a house knows the absolute pain of standard loan fees. You've got the application, processing, underwriting. Honestly, it feels like you're being nickeled and dimed before you even get the keys to the front door. Well, this program completely flips that script. We're talking zero fees, no closing costs, and no points. The goal here is simple. Keep that money exactly where it belongs, right in the educator's pocket.
But beyond just skipping the fees, this is really about removing all the friction from the process. They actually use wholesale lenders to secure wholesale rates, and get this, they offer free credit restoration, which is a massive hurdle for a lot of first-time buyers. They even have ways to navigate those tricky student loans. But perhaps the coolest part for overworked teachers, they provide a dedicated 24-hour consultant to hold your hand through the entire step-by-step process.
That brings us to Section 3, giving back to schools.
Now here is the real philanthropic engine of the model. When an educator buys or sells a home through this program, a cash donation is triggered. But, and this is key, it doesn't just vanish into some giant bureaucratic general fund. Nope. The donation is made to the specific school program of the teacher's choice. Whether it's academics, athletics, or a special interest club, they get to send the money exactly where they feel it'll benefit their students the most.
So, what does that actually look like in reality? Try $200,000. Yeah, since 2016, that is the massive amount that's been injected directly back into specific Lee County school programs. And remember, those are programs chosen directly by the teachers themselves. That is a real game changer.
And hey, as an added bonus, over $316,000 has gone directly back to the teachers themselves. Because of how their mechanisms work, that translates to about $680 extra right back in the average teacher's pocket. Not too shabby, right? But honestly, most importantly, all of this translates to over 300 educators helped. That is over 300 teachers who actually get to achieve the dream of homeownership and afford to live in the very community they serve. It's a brilliant way of solving a massive crisis for local school districts where, let's face it, educators are so often priced out of the market.
Let's wrap things up with Section 4, Teacher Success Stories.
Take Kristen, for example. She's a teacher at Villas Elementary, and she recently closed on a new home with her mom, Cindy. After using the program, they described the whole experience simply as being such a relief and super excited. Just imagine the immense pressure lifted off your shoulders when those exorbitant closing costs we just talked about completely disappear from the equation.
Then there's Carla, a teacher at Ramus C. Page, and her husband, Andrew. Look, navigating a first-time home purchase is notoriously stressful for literally anyone. But they describe their journey through this tailored program as, quote, super smooth.
And I think Ashley Jerzik over at Heights Elementary highlights exactly why this works so well. She noted that her consultant, Ed, worked tirelessly and consistently went above and beyond from their very first meeting all the way to closing day. It just proves this isn't just some cold, calculated financial transaction, It's about getting dedicated, around-the-clock guidance through a really complex system. So, as we wrap up today, I want to leave you with this one question to chew on. Could a dual benefit model of homeownership and school funding enrich your own community?
We've just explored this brilliant case study in Lee County, Florida, where real estate commissions are essentially being repurposed to help teachers buy homes with zero fees while simultaneously funding local classrooms. If this clever, highly community-focused framework works for educators in one county, how could we potentially apply it in our own backyards? Think about that for a second. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.